If you like horror games and you like first-person shooters, maybe a little tired of the PvP and kind of just want something PvE that you can do by yourself or co-op with the homies, and you want to do all that for under $10, I might have a game for you. Now, before I get started, yes, the game is $10 right now. It is on sale until February 24th on Steam. So by the end of this, if this sounds like something you would be interested in, just spend the $10, bro. As I always say in most of my videos when it comes to things that cost money, a lot of this stuff is the price of a battle pass. This is cheaper than a Call of Duty skin. Just throwing that out there. Anyways, the game we're talking about today, Ripout. Now, I've had this game since it came out last May, I believe. And though the core mechanics of it were nice, there were definitely some issues. There were some, like, there wasn't even a crouch in place. It was very odd, like that weird, like, you're up and it's automatically strange. But there was other stuff. Enemies, you know, the AI enemies had behavioral problems, whatever. The normal, typical things that you kind of run into in early access, the stuff they patch, the stuff they update. And now that it's been some time and it's come on, yeah, it's been almost about a year, this game is in a whole different spot, man. It feels extremely polished. Now, they already did a good job with setting the atmospheric tone of this game with the whole horror element of it, right? But now, with everything polished out and all the animations right and the AI enemies seem better, this is definitely a must check out. So what exactly is Ripout? Again, it is a horror FPS game, but it reminds me of like Dead Space or Alien Isolation. One, because all these games take place in space, so that's like bing, Captain Obvious stuff. But that level of darkness and grittiness that you get from like Dead Space and Alien Isolation is in this game. Sound design, music design, the overall just visuals of it all, the way it all comes together, it has a really beautiful dark horror undertone to it. It gives you that slight uncomfortable feeling about being on some old shitty spaceship station or whatever with nothing but you and monsters. No homies, no, hey, Mr. NPC, monsters, all types of crazy monsters. Ones that you can blow its leg off and it'll like attach to another dead monster and turn into a bigger monster. The shit is crazy, the shit that you'll see here. But it makes for a fun time. So basically, you start on your own little space station, right? You go to your little terminal, you pick a mission, you get on a shuttle, you go to a space station, you start your mission, whatever that mission is. For example, the gameplay footage you're watching, I had to go get log data on some guy. So you'll start at the hangar, you'll go through, you'll look for crates that have ammo and health and stuff like that. And there's a slight roguelite element to it because there are these terminals that you go up to and it'll have 3 different things you can do for like upgrades or perk stuff. So like give your pet more damage, give your sidearm more damage, more of a health boost, bigger, those type of things, right? But it isn't like going from door to door and then it's not a full roguelite. I want to get that clear. That's not what this is. But this, when I see that, that's what that reminds me of. Okay, cool. So as you progress through the map and you do your objectives, one, it has a compass, so it's not like you're gonna get lost. Just follow the compass per usual. But as you progress and do your mission, more and more monsters will show, more and more critters, and it does get difficult. This is not it's all, I don't want to call it Souls-like. I don't want to call it Souls-like, but I do want to say it's not your typical simple TTK. And you also do not get this whole, if I stand still for 10 seconds, my health regens. That's not a thing. These enemies do a good amount of damage, especially the big ones. They can kill you pretty quickly. There's a lot of open world hazards like electricity stuff that's all over the place that if you're not paying attention to, will zap the shit out of you. Now, mind you, there's power switch boxes all over, so keep an eye on those. They're like little red boxes that you can just flip the switch, turn power off, so you don't have to worry about running over that. But again, no healing out with the just standing still thing. You actually have to go out and look for little health packs like you would in Dead Space. But outside of that, it's missions, you know, complete missions, come back, do more missions. The more missions you do, the more areas you unlock. The more areas you unlock, the more weapons you unlock, the more armor upgrades you unlock, the more pet upgrades. So it's it's the rinse and repeat cycle. Do missions, come back, upgrade, do more missions, and just keep going as you go through more and more difficult stages. Now, the big bread and butter of this game is this damn pet gun. Okay, now this thing is creepy and awesome at the exact same time. It looks like a little xenomorph head with a spider body. I don't know how else to describe it, man. It's freaky. I hate creepy, crawly, leggy things. That's just me, but it's awesome. So what you can do with this thing, you scan around looking for points of interest, like maybe a switch that needs to be flipped or destroyed. Maybe there's an enemy with a weak spot. Whatever you have your scan button set to, mine is Alt. You press it, it'll bring up like the orange radar ring. You can left click, you can left click. Pet will jump out. If it's a box that you needed to bust, it'll go break it. If you needed to attack an enemy, it will go attack an enemy for a minute. And you still have a sidearm that you can use while your pet gun is out doing its thing, so don't worry about that. But it can also pick up these things called critters, which are extremely useful, and it's very important that you look for these. These are like little tiny monsters that don't really do a bunch of crazy damage, and they're super useful to you. Some of them shoot missiles, some of them give you a full body shield. So be on the lookout for those. Again, the only way to pick those up though, you have to scan, look at one, use your pet will bring it, put it on your shoulder, and now you have control over it. For the ones that shoot missiles and stuff, there's a finite amount of ammo, so don't just be sitting there spamming the button. You only have like 8 to 10 shots, I believe, and then that's it. The thing is done. You gotta get a new one. So just keep that in mind. I don't know how much I touched on this, because you know my brain be fried the hell out, but in case I did mention that the big giant monsters can reattach to dead monsters to make new ones, right? I don't know if I brought that up. Let me speak on that in just a little bit more detail before we go. So there are these big giant, they already look like they are just hodgepodge together, like some random monster's leg with a different monster's head, arm, and torso. These some big ass motherfuckers. You'll know them because they're like some of the biggest enemies in the game that I've seen. If a couple of those come out and you kill one and you blow the leg off of one that's still alive, it has a possibility of like morphing with the dead thing and becoming an even bigger, more armed-y fucking horror, disgusting piece of crap that you gotta shoot. It's so nasty, bro. Like this, I really have to give these guys credit because they have a good understanding of what people want to see when it comes to horror. And it's not this horror of like, jump scare, oh my god. I mean, you know, you might be if you weak. Not me though, I ain't scared, I ain't no bitch. But this is horror of just not knowing of the unexpected. There we go, right? It's the horror you get from that feeling of the unexpected and shit being super dark and things might pop out of the vent and all you hear is like squiggly sounds running by your ear and you're turning and you're looking but you don't see nothing, all while trying to stay focused on one objective just to get back to the shuttle without dying. Because if you die, of course, you fail, it's over. And like I told you earlier, your health doesn't regen. So you actually have to play a little bit slower and play a little bit smarter because especially as the missions progress, the health drops are gonna become far and few in between. They're not just gonna, you know, your first little mission, it's not too bad. Maybe even your second one. But then you'll see like, holy shit, health, please, I'm at 5. And you done beat the mission and all you gotta do now is get to the shuttle, but there's 10, 15 goddamn big ass enemies and dogs and spiders and shit running around and you gotta try to kill them all to get on your damn ship with that 5 health. It can get a little spicy out here, man. But overall, I will say this is an extremely underrated game. And for $10, between that and Apex Season 24 Battle Pass, you know what I'm saying? Like, But that's just me though. That's just me though. You make your decision. But if this did interest you, check the link in the description below. You'll be able to find the game. Spend the $10, man. And then if you do, come back, let me know what you think about it. And if you played already, maybe in the beginning or you played recently, let me know how you feel about the game currently. Because I'm going to continue and get a little further and more deep into the game now, especially with it being so polished. So holla at your boy, man. We'll see you in the next video.